afternoon, everybody, and welcome. In this video, we're going to be showing you how to set up Google Drive to use with the OptiStore ONE point-of-sale system. The system is not set up at first, so we're going to do that by clicking End of Day, Cloud Storage Organizer. We're going to log in. You're going to see a prompt that appears saying, the system's not been set up with any cloud storage. Would you like to set up now? So I'm going to go ahead and say yes. And we can choose Dropbox or Google Drive. In the future, we may support other cloud storage services, but for now, we're just going to go with Google Drive. We have a window here which lets us start setting things up. So we're going to click on a button called Launch. It's going to open up our web browser, and we're supposed to choose a Google account. In this case, I just have one, but if you have multiple, it will have them in a list, and choose the one that you're going to use with the service. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose this one here. Right now, since we're in development stage, we're getting this app hasn't been verified warning. In future, this would go away and you won't see it. But for now, it's here, and I'm going to click on Advanced, and I'm going to click on Go. Okay, so now we're getting our terms of service. Just to get started, we create 3 folders. One's called Unsorted, another one's called Medical Records, and a third one is called Orders. So initially, you're going to put all your stuff in this unsorted folder. But we are not going to access anything outside of those 3 folders. So if you use your Google Drive for other purposes, we don't look at any of those contents. We only deal with our folders. So the contents that you put in unsorted, obviously because it's unsorted, as the name suggests, we're going to analyze a file, try to figure out what it's for. So for example, if it's for an order, if it's related to an order, we're going to associate that with an order, and we're just going to rename it and recategorize it into the orders folder. That's about it. So so long as you understand that, let's go ahead and click on Allow. And once we've done that, we're going to get the opportunity to upgrade our plan. Initially, Google gives you 15 gigabytes, but over time you may find that it might be a little constrained, or you're going back and deleting things. So if you'd like, you can increase your storage requirements, and it can go all the way up to 2 terabytes, which is quite large. But for now, I'm just going to leave it for the free plan and go back to our application and authorize it. And as mentioned before, it's going to create those folders. And once it's done setting them up, it's going to let us know that the Google Drive is ready to use. We can actually see those folders. So if I go back to our web browser and go to drive.google.com, let's make this window a little bit wider. You can see here, that it has the folders already created. This is our drive. A lot of empty space, of course, because we just started. But these are the 3 folders that will be used. In our next step, we're going to be creating a simple customer record. We're going to put their name, their address, their telephone number. We can optionally put things like email address, cell phone numbers, things like that. And we're also going to be putting a prescription. Again, the prescription can be done later, but we're going to do that now since I have it at hand. To do that, I'm going to click Place an Order. I'm going to log in. We could have also done this through customer records, but I'm going to do it through here. They're an individual. And I'm going to use it for a customer called Vincent Key. Last name Key. Oh, let's misspell it as K-E. And I'm just going to put an address in here. And we're good with this. Let's go ahead and pick a phone number. And let's go next. Let's put a date of birth, today's date. And I'm going to put a prescription. This prescription is from April 28th of this year. And I'm going to go ahead and put the doctor. And that's it. So we've created a patient. The next step we're going to work on is creating an order. Let's go ahead and begin with that. So I'm going to place my order. And I'm going to do something simple. I'm not going to do anything complicated, just a single vision glasses with AR coding. So we have shortcut keys we can use. And I'm going to use a frame. And I know my lab tray number. And let's put a PD reading for this. I'll say 64, which should be split to 3232. Let's go ahead and take some payment. Let's say they pay by MasterCard. And let's say they had a deposit of only 50%. And we're done. So the next step, what we're going to do is, since we've created this customer order, the customer would have had a prescription, a physical paper copy prescription, and we want to scan that into the system. But we're going to take this picture and we're going to upload it into the cloud using Google Drive. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go over to our Android-based phone, and I'm going to launch our Google Drive services here. And again, as we mentioned before, we're going to put this in the unsorted folder. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on that. And since it's a scan, we want to click the giant plus button and scan. And here's my photo right here on the desk. I'm just going to try to focus this as best I can. Tap in the middle and go ahead and take our picture. So now that we've taken our picture, it's giving the opportunity to sort of modify the points to make it more square if you'd like. So I can go ahead and say, okay, this is good. Modify the points. So let's go ahead and crop it. Make it a little more square. We're good with that. And we can choose if we want it to be black and white. It's already black and white. I'm good with that. I don't want the name to be called scan, so I'm going to tap over on the three dots and rename this. And let's call it, begin with the word Vincent. All right. And once we're done, we can click on Save. And the file is now uploaded into the cloud. The next step is we want to actually associate this file with the order. So let's go ahead and stay on the order screen. Under the View Scan Image, we have a drop-down that says Cloud Storage Organize. This is what we used last time to set things up. And you'll see that the scan image is on the top and the order is on the bottom. All I have to do is I can click both of them and just say this is a prescription. So we choose what they are. I click the button. And in a moment, we're going to get a message letting us know that the items have been matched. And that's all there is to it. Now, let's go ahead and close our storage organizer. And if we want to view that image, we can click the button View Scanned Image back on our order screen. And here's a copy of our image. It's as simple as that. We can make it smaller if you'd like, resize this, print it. So the beauty is you don't have to have a filing cabinet anymore. Now you have a virtual filing cabinet. If you need to audit your records, you have the proof right here. Now I wanted to show you what happens to the file that we scanned and uploaded and associated. So let's go to our web browser. We're going to go drive.google.com as we have before. And this is the file that we associated just a few moments ago. It originally was in this unsorted folder, but now that we've associated it, if I look in the unsorted folder, you'll see that this folder is now empty. And that's what we wanted to happen. If we go back to our root directory here, the file has, because it's a medical record, has been moved to the medical records. So if I go into the medical records, you'll see there's a new folder that's been created, which wasn't here before, with the current year, because that's the year of the prescription, and the file has been moved in here. Now, not only has the file been moved in here, but it's been slightly renamed. So you can see if I just change the view of the file here, It's still called Vincent Keys scanned and all this extra bit of information. If I make this wider, you can probably see a little bit better. But it's now been prepended with the medical records ID, which is the beginning here, and the word RX. So that's all that's been happening here is the file's been moving from one folder to the other and given a slight rename. And the reason why we rename things is Vincent Key can have more than one medical record. If he has multiple medical records, it can all be called Vincent Key and even the same date here, but this beginning part will always be different. So that's our advantage here. Another advantage here is if we've got a bunch of John Smiths, a very common name in certain parts of the world, they won't collide with each other. We have a direct one-to-one association. So that's all we're basically doing in Google Drive. We're putting files in unsorted and then associating them with the type of purpose, which is a folder, medical record. And then the subpurpose is a prescription, it's an RX, and we're just giving it the name, so we have a one-to-one mapping. And it's really as simple as that. All the rest of your Google Drive outside of these folders remains untouched and unseen by the application. So it's just something I wanted to point out to you to give you a comfort of using Google Drive. And also, if you make a mistake, you can always go back and undo the mistake you've done. You can easily rename this file back to Vincent Key, removing the beginning part, and put it back in the unsorted folder. So you have a way of going backwards. And that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to call us, reach out to us. We'd be glad to help. Thank you.